She smiled, looking dreamily out on the shifty landscape. She had seduced him without even making up her mind to try. How? She asked, feeling that he should be delayed a little. He leaned over and put his lips to her ear. "Show me where your wooden leg joins on," he whispered. The girl uttered a sharp little cry, and her face instantly drained of color. The obscenity of the suggestion was not what shocked her. As a child she had sometimes been subject to feelings of shame, but education had removed the last traces of that, as a good surgeon scrapes for cancer. She would no more have felt it over what he was asking than she would have believed in his Bible. But she was as sensitive about the artificial leg as a peacock about his tail. No one ever touched it but her. She took care of it as someone else would his soul, in private and almost with her own eyes turned away. "No," she said. "I known it," he muttered, sitting up. "You're just playing me for a sucker." "Oh, no, no!" she cried. "It joins on at the knee, only at the knee. Why do you want to see it?" The boy gave her a long, penetrating look. "Because," he said, "it's what makes you different. You ain't like anybody else." She sat staring at him. There was nothing about her face or her round, freezing blue eyes, or his freezing blue eyes to indicate that this had, or her freezing blue eyes to indicate that this had moved her. But she felt as if her heart had stopped and left her mind to pump her blood. She decided that for the first time in her life she was face to face with real innocence. This boy, with an instinct that came from beyond wisdom, had touched the truth about her. When after a minute she said in a hoarse, high voice, "All right," it was like surrendering to him completely. It was like losing her own life and finding it again miraculously in his. Very gently he began to roll the slack leg up. The artificial limb, in a white sock and brown flat shoe, was bound in a heavy material like canvas, and ended in an ugly jointure where it was attached to the stump. The boy's face and his voice were entirely reverent as he uncovered it and said, "Now show me how to take it off and on." She took it off for him and put it back on again, and then he took it off himself, handling it as tenderly as if it were a real one. "See," he said with a delighted child's face, "now I can do it myself." "Put it back on," she said. She was thinking that she would run away with him, and that every night he would take the leg off, and every morning put it back on again. "Put it back on," she said. "Not yet," he murmured, setting it on its foot out of her reach. "Leave it off for a while. You got me instead." She gave a little cry of alarm, but he pushed her down and began to kiss her again. Without the legs, she felt entirely dependent on him. Her brain seemed to have stopped thinking altogether and to be about some other function that it was not very good at. Different expressions raced back and forth over her face. Every now and then the boy, his eyes like two steel spikes, would glance behind him where the leg stood. Finally she pushed him off and said, "Put it back on me now." "Wait," he said. He leaned the other way and pulled the valise toward him and opened it. It had a pale blue spotted lining, and there were only 2 Bibles in it. He took one of these out and opened the cover of it. It was hollow and contained a pocket flask of whiskey, a pack of cards, and a small blue box with printing on it. He laid these out in front of her one at a time in an evenly spaced row, like one presenting offerings at the shrine of a goddess. He put the blue box in her hand. "This product to be used only for the prevention of disease," she read, and dropped it. The boy was unscrewing the top of the flask. He stopped and pointed with a smile to the deck of cards. It was not an ordinary deck, but one with an obscene picture on the back of each card. "Take a swig," he said, offering her the bottle first. She held it in front of her, but like one mesmerized, she did not move. Her voice, when she spoke, had an almost pleading sound. "Aren't you," she murmured, "aren't you just good country people? The boy cocked his head. He looked as if he were just beginning to understand that she might be trying to insult him. "Yeah," he said, curling his lips slightly, "but it ain't held me back none. I'm as good as you any day of the week." "Give me my leg," she said. He pushed it farther away with his foot. "Come on now. Let's begin to have us a good time," he said coaxingly. "We ain't got to know one another good yet." "Give me my leg," she screamed and tried to lunge for it, but he pushed her down easily. "What's the matter with you all of a sudden?" he asked, frowning as he screwed the top on the flask and put it quickly back inside the Bible. "You just a while ago said you didn't believe in nothing. I thought you was some girl." Her face was almost purple. "You're a Christian," she hissed. "You are a fine Christian. You're just like them all, say one thing and do another. You're a perfect Christian, you're—" The boy's mouth was set angrily. "I hope you don't think," he said in a lofty, indignant tone, "that I believe in that crap. I may sell Bibles, but I know which end is up, and I wasn't born yesterday, and I know where I'm going." "Give me my leg," she screeched. He jumped up so quickly that she had barely saw him sweep the cards and the blue box back into the Bible and throw the Bible into the valise. She saw him grab the leg, and then she saw it for an instant slanted forlornly across the inside of the suitcase, with the Bible at either side of its opposite ends. He slammed the lid shut and snatched up the valise and swung it down the hole and then stepped through himself. When all of him had passed but his head, he turned and regarded her with a look that no longer had any admiration in it. "I've gotten a lot of interesting things," he said. "One time I got a woman's glass eye this way. And you needn't to think you'll catch me because Pointer ain't really my name. I use a different name in every house I call at and don't stay nowhere long. And I'll tell you another thing, Holga," he said, using the name as if he didn't think much of it. "You ain't so smart. I've been believing in nothing ever since I was born." And then the toast-colored hat disappeared down the hole, and the girl was left, sitting on the straw in the dusty sunlight. When she turned her churning face toward the opening, she saw his blue figure struggling successfully over the green-speckled lake. Mrs. Hopewell and Mrs. Freeman, who were in the back pasture digging up onions, saw him emerge a little later from the woods and head across the meadow toward the highway. "Why, that looks like that nice, dull young man that tried to sell me a Bible yesterday," Mrs. Hopewell said, squinting. "He must have been selling them to the Negroes back in there. He was so simple," she said. "But I guess the world would be better off if we were all that simple." Mrs. Freeman's gaze drove forward and then just touched him before he disappeared under the hill. Then she returned her attention to the evil-smelling onion shoot she was lifting from the ground. "Some can't be that simple," she said. "I know I never could."